Okay, so thank you,
You.
Ravi ji and Rajiv ji, for joining the session today. Let us do very quick introduction before we start the program. Uh, Global supply chain talk show series. We are bringing manufacturing 4.0 today's topic. Okay, so this is very much relevant in this disturbing times. I think this topic is really very important and very crucial at this point of time. Okay, so to discuss this point, manufacturing 4.0 and its importance, we have a panel, expert panel, Mr. Ravi Gilani and Mr. Rajiv Ganju with us. So let me give a very quick introduction to Ravi ji and Rajiv ji. Uh, Welcome, Mr. Ravi Gilani, founder, managing consultant at Goldrat Bharat. A graduate from IIT Delhi, Mr. Gilani is a leading expert in implementing theory of constraints to drive dramatic improvements in business performance. He specializes in generating a right global and local measurements to significantly increase cash flow, profitability, and sales. With a proven track record of helping organizations achieve breakthrough results, Mr. Gilani brings deep insights and practical wisdom to the table. I think we are fortunate to have you, Mr. Ravi ji, here. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce Mr. Rajiv Ganju, Senior Vice President for Manufacturing and Global Supply Chain at Luminous Flower Technologies. With over 30 years of experience, he has led major supply chain transformations, driving Industry 4.0, smart factories, you name it. He is certified Six Sigma Black Belt, executive coach, and many more. Okay, so he has been a very frequent speaker in our events, and I'm personally excited to hear you, Rajiv ji. So thank you very much for joining the show. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
just
Thank you so much.
to give you a quick brief from about myself, I'm Sheikh Abdul Khader, CEO of Data Labs India. So we have solutions, fruition of supply chain excellence, solution stack for manufacturing and logistics to achieve excellence. With this, I take an opportunity to invite our guest speakers and panelists. Rajiv ji, why don't you just a very quick intro and then let us start on it.
So, thank you. First of all, big thank you to Raviji and big thank you to you for organizing it. What a relevant time when every day we are hearing about tariffs and every day we are seeing that how supply chains, what to do, from where to import, where to export. So it's in everybody's mind. So, thank you so much to audience on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And what a topic we have chosen. Like everybody is talking about only supply chain these days. When we hear about tariff, it is only tariff on the supply chain. So w- recently,
Fantastic.
like we were hearing about supply chain disruptions now because of wars, and now we are looking at supply chain disruption due to tariffs.
Yeah,
So I've been in supply chain for close to 30 years. I worked with LG, I worked with Motorola, I worked with Samsung. Now I'm with Luminous Power Technologies Private Limited, which is a 100% subsidiary of Schneider Electric. So
fantastic.
now talking about the Industry 4.0 and why it is important, I'll just give the brief background that see like globe always needs couple of supply chains. They cannot only depend on China, and we have discussed this long back. So everybody is looking at China plus one policy, and anyway, otherwise also you cannot have one supply chain. And you have seen many countries, like in India we say make in India. Now US is talking make in US. Europe is talking how they can have their manufacturing base because it cannot be concentrated only in one continent or one country. So that is what the supply chain is all about. So which means that one, it is opportunity for us, and second, it is also challenge to
Sure.
us. So opportunity in the sense that when everybody is talking about China plus one, so we can have a lion's share out of that supply chain. Why should it go to small countries like Vietnam and Philippines? At least we can boast we have the highest number of technical manpower in the world today, and that too young, very young. So second, we can boast that our labor cost, our electricity cost, or the conversion cost, what we call it, to convert raw material into finished product is much better, even better than China today. So we have a chance there. So third thing is like we have learned through ages our global best practices in quality. So why should we leave? We know now on quality as well. Now, to be competitive, only thing is that we have to adapt Industry 4.0. When we talk about 4.0, it is the fourth revolution, and many people are now talking about fifth revolution, wherein they
Absolutely.
say the difference between fourth revolution and fifth revolution is the human element. In fourth element, we were talking about digitization, we were talking about computers, robotics. Now, in fifth revolution, we are talking about collaborative robotics.
Absolutely.
We are talking about we have brought because
People.
we have brought human element back into the
Hmm.
supply chain, so which we had ignored in Industry 4.0. So it is important to be competitive, and this is the way wherein we can have better efficiencies and we can make our products which are much better competitive, and we stand a big chance to get the lion's share in global supply chain. That's a quick
Great,
comment.
sir. Yeah, great, great. I think this topic is very relevant at this point of time. And the manufacturing supply chain organizations, wait and see policy, I don't think it will work now. Okay, they need to be proactive at this point of time. They cannot just say, okay, let's wait and see what happens, let everything stabilize, then we will take actions. I think it will create a bigger problem. So uh, whatever we have tariff war or whatever, so that all the organizations need to catch up for technology. That's what I think. So they need to catch up on technology. They need to catch up on the processes, so business process, and then the skills. These are the key things. What I think it is essential, and you should not wait for anything. We should start. Many organizations still they are way behind in catching up the things. So they will have a bigger problem with AI revolution. They will have a much bigger problem. I think with that in my mind, I would like to invite Raviji to start. Raviji is expert in manufacturing in general and the process, theory of constraint in particular. So Raviji, so what do you just your point of view about the whole manufacturing 4.0 transformations? Yeah.
Frankly, we still do not have fundamentals in place. Forget about computerization, forget about AI. The basics are wrong. I'll give you from a couple of angles. Just to let you know, I'm the era where I learned Fortran 4, 1971. Today, most people will not know what is Fortran 4.
Yeah.
Okay?
We had in academics. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Now, fundamentals. The basics itself are not correct across the world. For example, no company is closed because it has declared a loss. Companies close down when they run out of cash. Unfortunately, across the world, cash is the least time spent on cash by the top management is next to nil. It was there in the early 2000, it is there today also. Valuation, profit, these are all, in fact, now I'm making in this open forum, almost every single company in the world, they do not tell the correct profit. They are not illegal, but the accounting itself is wrong. I'm challenging from the base. Now, that's first. We have to correct them. My guru, Dr. Eli Goldratt, he made a statement: measurements drive behavior. you don't have the right measurements, you have no right to get the right behaviors. Now, fundamentally, now I come to whatever chaos we think is being created by President Trump. Actually, it's a chaos. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know in 2 hours what will happen. We had something, we were fortunate that 5 years back, almost to the date, we had a similar situation when COVID struck us. We were just not sure what's going to be happening tomorrow. And I will also add something very interesting here. Never let a crisis go waste. We have to see so-called waste. And I'm not talking in money terms. Money we can beg, borrow, and steal. But what about time? If you lost once, it's gone forever. There is no way any one of us can get even 1 second more than 24 hours. Now, I'll come straight. In this chaotic environment, three things are bound to happen. One, there will be supply disruptions. There will be. I'll give you a small example. 2-3 days back, I learned that China has banned all LNG imports from China. So the Chinese company, what do? Suddenly,
All of a sudden.
all of or something. So on one side, logistics is in any way going to be in trouble. Anywhere there's a problem in Red Sea, you get stuck. So logistics itself in the supply chain is a big issue. It's going to have a lot more chaotic environment than before. What about the demand side? Suddenly the demand can go overnight. For example, the LNG companies, their ships are stuck in the high seas. Where to send it? And so is on the demand can be very fluctuating, the supply will be fluctuating, the logistics is. So keeping all this in mind, what do we have in hand? I think you used a word, I think Rajiv ji said, we have to become proactive. We have to become extremely fast. And I'm going to share a few small things. Maybe some of you we are aware of one author, Richard Schonberger. I read his book in 1994, World-Class Manufacturing. In that book, he says, please note, I'm talking about calendar time. If you start a product, measure the total time on calendar time, not on a shift basis, not on a 5-day week, 7 days a week, every day 40 minutes. Measure how many minutes it has taken from the time you started till it was declared finished goods ready for dispatch. Divided by the actual processing time. We talked about processes. What is the process time? And this ratio we call total time by cycle time. I've done in India this ratio. I worked primarily in India. In 94, this ratio was 20:1. That means only 5% of the elapsed time was used for processing. Now, what does Richard Schonberger says about it? He says 1:1 is utopia. That means no wastage of time, no waiting time. Sorry, not possible. Some will be there, inevitable. We don't want it. So he termed it ratio 2:1. 2:1, world class. 3:1, very good. 4:1, you need to improve. And I'd done some exercise about 5 years back in a very large organization, aerospace. The ratio was 2200:1. So all organizations, yes, I'm not mincing words. Now what happens? On one side we talk about agility, but where is our measurement? My request, look at anything, whatever we're doing, measure TT by CT. We don't do. We give justification why it could not have been done. I'm not interested in justification. Today we will survive who will be very agile. I'm saying it's a great opportunity for our country in the current chaotic environment. Why do I say that? One, in India, we are used to chaos like anything. Rajivji, where do you stay?
I
Where's
stay
your
in
home?
Faridabad.
Faridabad. Okay. So Faridabad, Delhi, Faridabad, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Noida, you experience enough chaotic environment on the
Yes.
road. Tekji, what about you? Are you in Hyderabad?
Hyderabad, yeah.
Okay, Hyderabad is no, what you call better. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Choose any city in the country, the traffic condition is extremely chaotic. So this is a plus because we have the ability to switch things very fast. So first of all, we'll have to start looking, use whatever technologies you use. I don't know much about AI. I'm saying very openly. But at the end of the, if your TT by CT ratio is not coming down, then frankly, what have you achieved?
Mhm.
Now I'll come down to a little bit more. All the material which is not is being used, all the material in the world, all. It is raw material, it is in the transit, it's in WIP, is it in finished goods, whatever you, is it of any use? It's a
Including
waste.
human talent. Including human talent. Yeah.
Sir, I'll go a little bit more measurable one because intangible, frankly, it's an intellectual debate and nothing else. There's no practicality in that. I mean, some of these words, cost or quality, etc. Sorry, I'm very uncomfortable. I have a reasonable, correct measurement, which three people measure. They should not be differing more than a few percentage points. If they are what you call changing too much, forget about it. Now, one thing: once you start something, please finish it as fast as possible, and eventually collect the money as fast as possible. Because unless you have collected the money, frankly, what have you done? You have shifted material from one side to another side, nothing else. At the end of the day, I can make any company in this country, I'm making it an open forum. Any company in India in manufacturing in one day, the most highest sales in the world and profitable simultaneously. But it will get bankrupt by 20th of next month. Guaranteed. I'll give you the straight answer. I will buy anything from you, Rajiv ji. I'll buy anything from you for $1 trillion. Nobody can stop me if you and I agree. Can somebody stop us?
No.
What is the GST you pay to the government of India for your products?
So I can't reveal the exact figure, but
No,
we
no,
do.
it's about 18%.
18%.
So you have to pay $180 billion by 20th of May to the government of India. For $2 billion, Vodafone is still struggling. Hope it has been settled. So if the government has to get 180 billion from you, do you think they are going to wait? They will stop everything and go after you. The
Correct.
richest of the person, whether it's Mr. Adani or Mr. Ambani, they don't have 180 billion. And it's all legal. Profit is there. Sales is there. And I've asked for a 3 months credit period. What can I do?
Where is the cash?
And you'll be bankrupt. You'll be closed. All I'm requesting is we have to correct the measurements. If you don't have the right measurements, you are in trouble. At a macro level, I focus extremely. Let me first get the cash because first survive, then thrive.
Fantastic.
I can just tell you in the first year of COVID, 2021, one of my clients who had started 52 years back, for its entire history, it became debt free in that year. It became debt free. Oh, yes, they've made a loss. So, coming back, what I'm trying to say, we have to have a right global measurement for the company as a whole. To my mind, cash in the bank. You have cash in the bank, rest all. How you get cash, your choice. Now I come down to the local measurements also we'll have to define properly. So for manufacturing, which is more in our domain, it is TT by CT, total time by cycle time. Now I come to a few more things, and again I'm focusing on cash. Our friends in the supply chain, Rajiv ji have so much experience. How often we have huge inventories, and some of them lying for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm not saying their shelf life has gone. Shelf life has not gone. It's there.
It's there.
Now let's see what are the issues we experience. In your computer system, it says it's there, but when you go physically, you can't get it. There's a mismatch. It's there, but you can't locate it. And I'm assuming some of our audience will be able to understand Hindi. बच्चे कहाँ पे खोते हैं? Where do we lose children? Where they get lost? मेले में. So in our companies also, we have huge inventories, but they're not available. We can't look at it. And why do we get big chunk of inventory in one go? Primarily, or apparently, if I would use the word, to save freight cost. But in the process, what we don't realize, inventory has gone through the roof. This material may or may not be utilized ever. On one side, we have no guarantee of demand. It can change overnight. Another area, now this is human being I'm talking about. Even when there's no change in the freight cost, there's no change in the material cost. Our friends in these purchase, I would use the word rather than supply chain, they're very uncomfortable buying in small quantities. The reason is they'll have to put more effort in generating GRNs, more data entry for the inputs. The quality control department has to work because now it's coming in small lots. But organizations are paying a huge price because
they call it as a bulk discounts.
Sorry, I can't use my standard language here. Otherwise, I would have said I don't want to use that. Frankly, it's all nonsense. Primarily, the people don't want to go beyond their existing methodology of working. So, AI can help in a big way. But before you put it in AI, I remember from my time when they said computerization. It's an ages back, 50 years back I'm talking. Garbage in, garbage out. So are you feeding the right thing? So that's another area. Please allow me, let me know when I should.
Yeah. Very interesting, sir. Actually, see, sometimes we carried away with the new technologies, new processes, and all, and then we sometimes we don't focus on the basics. As you rightly said, there are some fundamental business things we need to pay attention, which has to be fixed. Whether you have a chaotic environment or not, you have to fix the basics. Of course, focusing on cash flow, I think most of the businesses will go out of business because of cash flow, not because of any other things. Okay, inventories, waste of time, waste of resources. I think these are all. The thing is, everybody knows about this. It's not that people don't know about it, but still, they want to. Even the manufacturers, they produce it and keep it in the stock instead of
Yes.
keeping the material in raw material, because they meet their numbers, the overall quota, whatever we call it. Yeah, this has to be improved. At the same time, we need to see at the other side of the catch up phrase. So the technology, the overall things. So what do you think, Rajivji? I think it's a very interesting debate. Now we are talking different things together. Okay, so we are actually challenging the fundamental things of managing organizations. At the same time, we are talking about managing them in a very different way with technology and other things. So I think this is a fantastic debate. Thank you, Raviji. You are again. I remember all the discussion what I had. Good, right? Okay, so I keep still with me those things. Okay, in few minutes you told me all those things. Very nicely said. Okay, so let us take it forward to make it more interesting. What because of this tariff war, to take it just in a generic sense, what should Indian manufacturing people should do? Rajiv ji, very in couple of things. Then we'll talk about the details.
Yeah, so first of all, I think Raviji told the basic points. Like, if you don't follow the basics, so I'm a Six Sigma black belt, so we know like it is right from define. We call it DMAC. Like, so we also discuss about measurements. We call it as repeatability and reproducibility. So it's known as gauge R&R. So if three people cannot do same measurement, so there's an issue of repeatability and reproducibility.
Correct.
So if we don't qualify gauge R&R, so measurement is not correct. So ultimately, if you take any process, so it is you have to first define the process. You have to measure the process. Then you can do analysis. Then finally improve. Up to this stage, even in India, we are good. Then the last word is C, that is controlling the process. There is where we falter. We don't have proper control systems. So if you don't control it, you'll see after 3 years we'll be again doing same define, we'll be doing same measurements, we'll be analyzing and improving again. So that is why we do one project 100 times in the same factory or in same supply chain environment. So good. So I could remember some of these examples while working when you were speaking. So thank you so much for that, Raviji. Now talking about the tariffs, so as I told you, first there are opportunity, there are challenges. The first big challenge is now, like we discussed, China will have, like you recently saw, I don't know whether you noticed, 5 million phones. We sent
Yes.
one order within 24 hours. 5 million phones were sent to Apple. So which means that inventory was here. Then only they were
Mm.
made. Then only it could be built. So so it is not otherwise. It is, I heard, it's close to around 200 tons they had to ship to United States, and it was so done so beautifully. There were green channels. If we do it very fast. So there was green channel. There was no, like, it passed through the green channel. Normally it takes 48 hours to pass customs and all that, those things were done. So what I mean to say, same way we have to see that when tariffs are there, there'll be some inventories of FG as raw material lying in China or lying elsewhere. So we have to first prevent our country that they should not be dumped here. Otherwise, it will be a big loss to
No,
us
yes.
if it gets dumped here. So I'm sure
Definitely.
that we have to be very careful about. Unnecessarily, items should not get dumped here. Second thing is when there are tariffs. So luckily, like we are in the mid part of the tariff. We are not into extreme tariffs. So which is an opportunity that when the void in the globe, whether it is Europe, whether it is US, or whether it is some countries where the because of the tariffs there is some void, it is good chance for us to start business there. In even we can fill that void by, even if we can be strong in our parameters, if we are good in three things. Supply chain is about quality, cost, and delivery. If we follow these three things to the teeth, so I think we can fill those voids. So it's an opportunity for us also when tariffs are there. Third thing, it also gives us idea that so far, if we what we talked about, make in India. So we have been totally focusing. We have to talk supply chain in totality. When we started making India in India, we thought manufacturing is all about assembling. So if
Hmm.
you see our generation of supply chain here, we are very good assemblers. Or like we say that recently it's a big discussion that when we do innovation, is innovation about only people who supply food here and there? Do we want to create that kind of, do we want to create
It's a
that kind
big
of?
debate.
So similarly, do we want to create a workforce who can only assemble? I
Assembly.
don't think so. Like we have to create a workforce in this age of generative AI. We have to create a workforce who can only do assembling. So this gives us a chance where we can focus on R&D. We can we can focus on our own mineral wealth. Why we have to? Why we rare metals? Why do we have to import? We know that we have lithium in India also. Why should we focus on import? We should be fast enough to extract it and make it productive and make it useful. So similarly, it gives us that we will focus on getting the supply chain 360 degrees. If you see, take a simple PCB. Its main cost is in making laminators. Like we don't have in India, we have to get, even if we make PCB here, but we have to get laminator from China. So we have to focus on these kind of industries, and which alone cannot be done by any industry. So you need co-collaboration between government there. Like even if you see the biggest laminator factory in China, it is supported by government because it needs huge mass scale is there. Similarly, if we talk about foundry, we are focusing so much on solar. So we need foundries here where we can produce the silicon ingots to the purity what we need in solar cells. So I think backward supply chain, so which we have never focused. We thought that we will get these ready-made things from either from Europe or from Southeast Asia or or from Southwest Asia, then assemble it here and then ship the FGs. Now is which will means that we are not we have focused on OEMs, but we have not focused what I could hear from Raviji also on tier one, tier two, and tier
Yes.
three supply chain.
Exactly.
So I think the time has come. We have to focus on this tier one, tier two, and tier three supply chain because that in any OEM is 60% of the bomb is sitting there. Rest
Maybe
value
more.
addition is
Yeah.
only 40%. So if we don't pay focus to that tier one, tier two, tier three, how will we progress and how will we comply with that QCD what we talked about? So I think this is the right time. This will give us opportunity. One is to develop it. Second is to support it, to nurture it, because we talk so much about MSME and SME. So this is the time to nurture them, pass on knowledge to them, help them, handhold them, and then to complete. Ultimately, it is complete supply chain, right from getting minerals, processing minerals, making ingots, slicing wafers, then making the product out of it, not only assembly. The last part I would say that rightly so we focus on assembly because it could give many jobs.
Correct.
So this kind of things what we are talking could not generate so many jobs. Assembly generates too many jobs, so
Too
that's
many
right
jobs.
for the country. But now it is time that we invest in our R&D. We do our research.
Sustainability.
Okay. So today also any organization you say 1.5 to 2% of our total revenue we spend on R&D, which is very
Correct.
less. Should be at least should be doubled. The
Correct.
sooner we double, we will have our technology. And why can't we have our own big tech? China proved it, right? China doesn't have Google Maps, it has WeChat. One WeChat can do everything. We
We
have
can.
given, we say that we are superpower of software industry. So we are, which means we are superpower of big tech. If
Again in
you
the same, sir. It's an assembly. Again in the software,
exactly.
it's an
So
assembly again.
if we are a superpower of big tech, we should have our. Why should we be dependent on? Because on the big tech, and if under such when tariffs are there, this is opportunity for us. Maybe we have our own maps, we have our own WeChat kind of a thing, like which is substitute to Google as well. So I think it is lot of. I personally feel it is lot of opportunity for us and government together with industry. We can do wonders. We have capability. We have a good technical talent. We have a young technical talent. We have capability. It's just execution now, in my opinion.
Fantastic, fantastic. I just add to very interesting discussion. I would like to add one more point: the mindset, the mid-size, the small manufacturers, mid-size, and then large. So here the mindset have to be changed. Okay. Now, on one hand, we have to set the right processes and right priorities. The basics, you said the right basics, and then on the other hand, you need to have the capabilities. So when it comes to technology investments, okay, so especially the mid-size and then smaller organizations still considers this technology investment as an expense. Still, okay. So we serve many customers. Okay, still they think that this is an expense. Okay, so they are happy to do manual work, but they still to jump into the bandwagon of technology and catch up, so that it will enable them for the new next generation technologies like IIoTs and then AI kind of thing. They're still struggling at the base level. So this is the mindset change, sir. So it cannot be technology wise, you have to take step by step. So you cannot overnight become super technology companies, for especially in the manufacturing. You need to take step by step. So first step is you need your basic operating processes, automate them as much as possible, and keep your workforce ready for the technology. Then over that you build the advanced technologies, so that, and now advanced technologies are not expensive actually. So advanced technologies are cheaper. Okay, so you enable them so that you at least you stay on par with the global manufacturing standards as far as the technology is concerned. So this is something, the mindset have to be changed. Still, in my opinion, the mindset is not changed. Okay, so the I think the government or any other body have to pay attention to this. Guys, invest yourself and organizations in the technology adoption as fast as possible. Yes, it is little investment required, but you have to do it. Otherwise, you will be actually, you might be obsolete by the time you want to catch up faster. Then it will be very painful investment. Okay, it will be very large investment, very painful investment. You don't get the right people in place, kind of thing. So this is one of the point I would like to add, Rajiv ji.
Khaled
And
sir, I would just add on this point. It's an excellent point you have brought about. So I meet these lot of people in CII, Elsina. I am in a couple of forums, whether in CII, especially CII is also doing a lot of job for SME and SME. So is Elsina doing. So I talk to them. I think it is about like, see, in India, like we think a lot when we have to change. For example, look at online business. So we never used to do anything online shopping, right? We were afraid that what will come in quality. How did our minds change? Only when it was that product will come to you, you only pay after that.
correct,
So
correct.
that was the moot point or the breakthrough point. Same thing about digitization and all these things, what we tell, like you said, IIoT or small things. Still, the MSME is not understanding. Like Ravi rightly said, they don't have abundance of cash like big OEMs have. So they have a limited cash flow because OEMs always, when they grow, they will increase their credit term, and they will say that okay, you give us on time. And naturally, every year, if they grow by 8%, their cash flow will not increase by 8%. So there is the moot point is like if we show them that okay, we are not taking one time capex cost, but we'll break it into small opex cost for you. Then we will show him that okay, 2 months it is opex cost, and you see how it gives you productivity. If these small things, you will make them understand, you will be amazed that people do want to adapt. I have a lot of MSMEs whom I told, okay, I introduced my people who had done, for example, predictive maintenance. We talk about, okay, generative AI and predictive maintenance. One A is they don't, it's, you have to make them explain in simple things. what it will do to your shop floor. So when they understood that yes, predictive maintenance, their breakdown can be predicted with 85% confidence interval, it saves cost. Ultimately you don't have to tell them time, you have to tell them your spare cost is saved because you will do preventive maintenance on time.
Mm.
So your spare cost, your budget, you see in 2 months how much you were spending, now see how much. I think if we make it simple like that online thing, it doesn't, we are now doing, you see, now we go even for getting one egg, you will go online, you will never go to shop, you will do it through Blinkit, so, or Zapto. So same thing, I think, like we have to choose different moot points have to be given to them, making it very simple, making it less expensive, and telling them how does it benefit them. If they understand, I think now the young generation which has come into tier 2 tier 3 suppliers, majority of them is willing to change.
Fantastic, sir. Raviji, before I come to you, I add one more point here. I think we have, if you take an individual organizations, there is a lot of talent. Okay, it's a capabilities. Collectively, if you take is an industry and ecosystem, so we have a problem. Okay, because the synergy is not there. That's what I see it. So there is a tremendous potential of collaboration which can solve this problem. So if you collaborate with the right partners and build partner ecosystem with our service providers or with the part providers or whatever, so then you might your weakness might become a strength. Okay, so I think this is something which we need to pay attention in India, at least in the growing economy of in the manufacturing domain. Okay, so I think with that, Raviji, uh, okay, we know what is the problem, how to solve it. So what is our approach? Okay, how can we help manufacturing industries to adopt basics, right? Catch up technology, and then sustainability towards the chaos or disturbances. So what is your intake on that?
How much time do I have to
No,
respond
we
to
have
this?
another half an hour. Yeah.
Ah, fine. You see, I'm going back. Basics has to be correct. I'm saying the goal of every company, goal. Hopefully, you have got that book also in your.
Yeah. Of course, without goal,
I'm making it
emission.
very clear. Most organizations do not have right goal and its measurement. Goal. I'm not talking about goals. In my view, goal is to make more and more money. Period. More and more money. I'm not talking of profit yet. More and more money, profit is a calculation. More and more money means cash in the bank. That's first. Second, I've understood your problem, what you are talking about, that these technologies can help in a big way. I agree with you. But the problem lies with us, and I'm using the word very carefully. Most of the top managers in this country, including the CFOs, are financially illiterate. I make provocative statements. I'll give you one example. One example. 10 years back, I was called by a large company called Jindal Steel and Power. It was in deep trouble for a variety of reasons. So I was invited, how can I help them improve cash? Because you have to pay to the bank the cash, otherwise you are in NCLT, NPA. So I was explaining the concept of theory of constraint to the owner, Mr. Naveen Jindal. So I told him, the real constraint is your policy. He didn't like it. He says, my policy? I said, yes, your policy as manifested in its measurements. Can you explain? I said, sure. Tell me, how do you measure the performance of your company? Oh, that's very simple. How many tons of steel we have produced and how many tons of steel we have sold? I said, okay, what's your problem? Your problem is cash. The month you produce more, what you call tons, did you sell more? Not necessarily. The month you sold more, what you call tons, did you get more cash? Not necessarily. So why the hell are you measuring tons? Said, what should I do? I'm going to again use Hindi. Tan tana tan band karo, khan khana khan karo. To his credit, he changed instantaneously every morning. Every morning, the first thing he wants to see how much cash has been credited in the bank. I don't care, check raste mein hai, vagara vagara. No. How much cash is in the bank credited yesterday in the morning? He must get it. That's the starting point. So, you want to do something to any organization. Sir, I will improve your productivity. Rajiv ji just said, some of these measurements are very fuzzy and can be cooked up. But the one thing which is very difficult, though not impossible, is to cook up cash in the bank. Though someone in your, what you call, city of Satyam fame also did that, but most of them cannot do that. So if we do anything to our customers, can we really show, take my services, your cash will improve in 1 month? Can we show that? And pay me after you have done it. Now I'm giving it here a few small things which people can do today. I've told them quite a few of my clients last week or about fortnight. People who want to improve their cash flow should avoid, if possible, dispatching anything in the last 3 days of the month. Why? You dispatch on the 29th, 30th, and 31st. Irrespective whether you get the money or not, you have to pay GST on the 20th by next month. You sent the same material on 1st. Your payment will get delayed from your customer by 3 days. I accept it. But 18% of that GST, you will get another credit of 30 days. 20 दिन के बजाय 50 दिन में मिल रहा है. That's number one. Number two, for companies who are very profitable and paying tax, I requested them, don't push your sales in the last couple of days of the March. Why? You pay at least 25% tax on that, tax on the profit. Let's say I'm using what Rajiv ji, what he said, 60% is your material cost. You sell something for 100 rupees. The variable cost is 60. I'll say 70. Your contribution is 30 rupees. 25% of that you have to pay tax now. Why? Avoid. And why does it happen? Two wrong measurements. We believe increased sales is a big achievement for the company. Increased profit. So first we have to correct. I'm using the word financial literacy. I'm not against increasing sales. I'm not against increasing profit. But cash should take priority. Cash is real. Rest is a calculation. In fact, I cannot resist myself saying something which is not mine. It came from one of these big 4 consulting companies. Sales is vanity. Profit is sanity. Cash is reality. And Ernst and Young said something of the similar nature. The only reality is cash, rest is an accounting opinion. Now, when we go and sell to the customer, any product of any service of ours, what we say, take my product, your gold units will go up. But how? We do not explain. That's our job, nobody else's job. We have to help them that we are going to use IoT or whatever else we are going to use. Straight away ask this question or show them by using this, will your sales goes up? No, sir, your production will go up. If production goes up, but without increase in sales, how does it help? In fact, it harms because your finished goods inventory is going up. If you can help them, show them that take my product, start how much your sales will go up, help them. How much your variable cost will increase? How much will your contribution will go up? How much your fixed expenses, if at all, any go? Most of the time, it will not go up. Most of the time, this will be the increase in your profit or margin. Now, this is our job, or every single one. Rajiv ji, you said something on the chaotic environment. We have lost Sheikh. 2014, when Mr. Modi said, "Make in India," I happened to be in one of the video conferences of CIA in Calcutta that day. I wrote an article thereafter. Today in India, our quality is quite okay. Our cost in any case has to be or selling price, otherwise the customer would not order. But one thing, we have a big problem. We don't deliver on time. Once again, I'm coming back. In this chaotic environment, one thing which will help us, very fast reaction time. Sir, Blinkit doesn't sell the cheapest. Do you agree, Rajiv ji?
Yes.
But we are addicted to that now. Why? One thing, speed. Fast. Deliver fast.
Speed is fresh.
Absolutely. भाई वो हमारे घर में तो कई बार होता है, सब्जी बनाने लगे, पता चला टमाटर नहीं, अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, ब्लिंकिट पे ऑर्डर कर देते, आ जाएगा. Now, how do we, this is the crux. We have to generate ability to deliver rapidly, lightning speed. We can do it by focusing on the right measurements, processes, and tools like AI. They can help in a big way. But first, we have to be clear, what do we want to achieve? Please, whether it's theory of constraints, whether it's lean, whether it's Six Sigma, TQM, or any of the other technologies, they are the means. At the end of the day, what matters most, what results are we getting? Often we are so stuck with the means that we forget, ultimately, goal has to be achieved. Somewhere we forget it. I don't know whether you had a chance to read the book, The Goal, Rajiv ji.
Yes, I've read it.
You have read. So, I mean, that's where he says, goal is not to produce more. Goal is to make money. Are you making more money? Are you selling more? Then what are you doing? So, Sheikh Saab, what I'm trying to put it here is, the very first thing is the organizations have to do it, have a full clarity on the goal of the company and its measurement. To my mind, it is cash. Increase cash. Now, increasing cash has two components. Now, that's why I say most of the time, topmost companies are financially illiterate. Cash can be impacted by two different ways, diametrically opposite. One is increased profit after tax. Of course, add depreciation, that will include. Another is shrink your working capital. Now, working capital has three major components: inventories, customer receivables,
payables and receivables,
and vendor payables. I'm coming on that. Inventories is totally in our hand, nobody else's. Right in the beginning, I said something. Often the purchase people, they're so much focused on reducing cost per piece. So penny wise, pound foolish, because the inventory goes through the roof. They don't realize that so much cash is stuck. Rajiv ji, your assembly, I mean, I'm sure in your organization, a lot of parts are assembled before you can send a finished good product. How many pieces? How many different parts are required?
So, like, because we are into electronics, so it will be close to 12,000, 13,000 parts.
Let's say one inverter would have 12,000 parts.
Yeah, because PCB will
That's
itself
fine.
will have
That's
many
fine.
parts.
That's fine.
PCB will make PCB assembly also.
Okay. Now I'm giving an actual example, except I will not name it. I asked a very dear friend of mine. We were working together in telco, Tata Motors, in the 70s. Now he works in a two-wheeler company, large two-wheeler company. I said, friend, tell me, do you have enough material every morning for one shift production? Only one shift. He said, never. But I complete my quota. Somewhere some quota word has come. One of you has used it. Yeah, what do you mean? He says, I produce as many motorcycles with the material I have. But I meet my production quota. And what is the production quota? How many motorcycles have you made? Now look at the situation. The motorcycles which were planned today for to be made, they are not made. Correct? But motorcycles which are not required have been made.
Made.
So what happens to finished good inventory? Goes up. And by the time tomorrow, then the right material for today has come. Now the balance material is not there.
Hmm.
So the situation continues. And then we cry. Are you with me? On one side, there's a heavy finished goods inventory. Another side, the right vehicle which is required is not available. So on one side, it hits sales. Another side, it hits FG inventory. Are you with me? Now, I'm sure you may or may not have that experience.
There's third measurement also. We don't capture lost sales.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Opportunity cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to use call and say so. I don't want anything theoretical. Why? What is the loss of sales? What you promised and you didn't deliver. Straight loss is there. That's the end of it. And today the customer is not waiting कि आप provide करोगे तो मैं लूंगा. He will go to somebody else. But you are lost forever, ever. Now, this is on the finished goods part. WIP is a huge problem across all Indian organizations. I had told you I did this survey in 1994, 31 years back. Situation today has not improved.
Not
The average ratio was 20:1.
Maybe it's still worse, sir, now. Yeah.
I told you from one large aerospace company, it was 2200:1. 2200:1. So WIP focus is very low. In fact, long time back, I've been talking about it. My son, he used to say, Papa, why are you talking this WIP? You speak a lot about it. What does it mean? I said, very simple. Work in progress. I said, in my opinion, it should be waste in production. So coming back, the third element is raw materials. Raw materials primarily are purchased in large quantity for two reasons. Ostensibly, it is what you call cost per piece will become less. No, if you are buying regularly, you can have a full year rate contract, but get in small quantities. And then for saving freight cost, we increase the inventories. Now I'm giving a tip here. A wrong assumption in the entire world is going there. Entire world, I'm now saying. Inventory is not a function of lead time. Inventory is a function of frequency of purchase. Milk may be coming from Anand to your home. But if you can buy every day, you're not going to take a week's stock at home. Because you can buy any time, twice in a day. Why do you keep a week's inventory? Nobody keeps it. This is the, let me say, logical reason. But the other reasons are no less important. The purchase fellow says, my work will go up. So what? Sir, I have to add two more. My cost will go up. This word cost will go up. It happens again and again. As if keeping costs low is the goal of the company. It means it's not an end. And ask this question, I'm reverting. Don't ever do cost benefit analysis. Ever. Do benefit cost. First, evaluate the benefit. Assuming it can happen, let's see what is the benefit. And now look at it, what will be the incremental cost for it. If there's sufficient margin of safety, go ahead. I recommend at least 3:1. At least 3:1, preferably 5:1. But this will happen only if the organizations pay as much time to looking at the balance sheet items as compared to profit and loss. Balance sheet items, people hardly pay any attention. Now comes the third element, vendor payables. And I can tell you, not on one side, we don't get the material on time. But there's a big problem by the organizations themselves. They don't even measure how many vendor overdue payables are there. My vendor says, we have agreed for the rate, we have agreed for everything. All I expect is, please pay me on the due date. That's all. Nothing more. But we don't. Not only we don't even measure how much is this. Then what does the vendor does? What does the vendor do? He prioritizes. And what we don't realize, now we are talking about micro and small industries. Often they have a problem. They run into cash constraint. They don't have cash to pay the salaries to their workers, electricity bill, and getting the additional raw material. In fact, the one small thing which we can do is to first start measuring vendor overdues. And it will not happen overnight, but over time it can be done. And the entire credit for this parameter, I would give to one gentleman. I did not know that, Mr. Naveen Jindal. We had huge overdues of vendors. Today we are almost next to nil. How can we be the most preferred customer of our vendors? On one side, we talk about satisfy all stakeholders, but all nonsense. Do we really care for our vendors? Now, third comes, start looking even our receivables. Do we have a clarity how much is my overdue and why should it be overdue? We don't even have a segregation. Most of the time, salespeople are focused on getting more orders. Not even execution, forget about collection of the money. Rajiv ji, you have rightly pointed out the third parameter, that we don't measure all these things properly. So, if maybe I'm speaking from my experience, I don't have much experience on technologies, but these technologies will help us only if the basics are right.
Basics. Correct.
And when we are selling technology to them, please, it is our job to help them understand that, look, by taking my product, my service, how your cash, sales, and profit will go. It is our job to do that. We don't do that job. In the same light, in a few minutes, I can take another 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, please. Mm-hmm.
About a month and a half back, Mr. Naveen Jindal rang me up on a Sunday. He said, Raviji, we have implemented theory of constraints in our organization, large organization. It's about 55,000 crore turnover in a year. We have benefited greatly. We were at a one-time default grade, and now we are AA. We have reduced our debt by 39,000 crores. From 45,000 crore, it came down to less than 6,000 crores. Now that I'm in the government, I have to speak up on the budget tomorrow. Tell me one thing, just one thing. What can government do in it on TOC? TOC stands for Theory of Constraint. I said, make it mandatory that all organizations, and starting with government, they pay to their suppliers within 7 to 10 days. Just that, nothing else. Okay, now government will in its own, it will decide. But we as an organization, what can my organization do? This is our job, nobody else's. So help the companies increase the cash flow, because typical response would be, I don't have cash, how can I pay? And another response, I wanted to, I don't mince words. Sir, but my customers don't pay me money on time. How can I pay to my suppliers? Is it really correct? It's like this, somebody has hit my car, hence I have the right to hit somebody else's car. Oh, what a great analogy.
Fantastic.
And you know the reason for that? Because we focus on reducing net working capital, not gross. Are you with me? So if I have not got the money from my customers on time, I delay my vendor payment, my net working capital looks still very,
It's the
working
same.
capital terms look very nice. Measurements drive behavior.
Correct. Great,
So
sir. Fantastic points. I think it is very important for all manufacturers to set the basics right, put the right measurement system, and then use technology to improve.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Rajiv ji, let us talk something on technology. Okay. So now, I think it's very interesting after a long time. Even it's for me refreshing, Ravi ji. So thank you for insightful lecture. I keep hearing it, and definitely, that is something uh, very important and fundamental topic. Everybody should pay attention to it. Having said that, so put your fundamentals properly, then let us come to the technology. Okay, let us come to the technology part. Uh, with all these technology evolutions and revolutions of artificial intelligence, industrial IoT, and all other blockchain kind of thing. So, what are the key takeaways? We are running out of time. So, what are the key takeaways, and what is your advice, Rajiv ji, based on your experience? How they can catch up to combine the best practices, the basics, and on the technology in a sustainable way?
So I'll tell you, like if you see in any factory, the most idle asset is the camera. For I'll tell you power of AI, and I'll tell you power of the things we are talking about. So far, how do we know this camera? It does what? So imagine we have hundreds of camera in a workplace. It will be at security gate, building, office, shop floor. So except washrooms, it's everywhere. So what? How do we use it? Nothing. We believe that some security guard looking at camera, he can point out 8 to 10 hours. We tell him to watch the screen, and he'll be able to uh, catch something, like if somebody is intruding inside the factory or not. Very impossible. Human eyes cannot detect.
Cannot.
If continuously you put one person sitting 8 hours and looking at screen, imagine, like now you have AI integrated with it. Now see the things it can do. Any intrusion, if you have some cases in it, automatically 10 people will get the message that intrusion has happened. So it's very simple. You don't even need a person to watch at the screen. Second thing, you have, like, everywhere barcode is there, right? This camera can sees the barcode. You can automatically see the invoice happening. You don't need anybody to count in the truck that how much FG has gone. And if this camera with barcode scanning is to the printer, invoice will automatically come. See, from a simple camera, you created a robotic process automation. You don't require people just to count your FG. It will automatically go. Imagine lot of scrap. Every day in any industry, there's a fight. Measurement, is it done? Have we given correct value of copper, correct weight? Look at if weighing scale, same on camera, it will weigh different things. It can capture automatically to tell you what should be the invoice cost and how much you have received. This is the power of whether we call it machine learning or many people use generative AI. So we can see how many things we can do. Similarly, take any machine, whether it is whatever machine it is. We have to do preventive maintenance. Half of the time we don't remember, second time production will not give time to do preventive maintenance. They will tell maintenance people, we don't have time, we have to produce. They will suffer the breakdown for 4 hours, but they will not give it for preventive maintenance. Now look at machine learning. The machine will stop function. It will tell that you have to do preventive maintenance, then only I will work. Otherwise, I'll not work. Look at, for example, any line. We talk about lean. We talk so much about lean, and we talk so much about defense. The power of AI is you can check to, like we thought total time and cycle time we decided. Based on this, you can calculate what is your IE, industrial efficiency, coefficient of efficiency, how much time you are wasting, even in seconds, that what could be utilized in that line can come, and it will calculate the process capability and process capability index. So it will keep on telling you that what exactly happened in a day. In simple language, it will say that you loaded input was 20 sets, and then you did rework so many times, and then ultimately you could have produced so many sets if that recovery was done properly, or what in science today we call as rolled throughput yield. So you will see many things like that. It is not only output by output by input into 100. It will not talk about efficiency, but it will talk about total efficiency. Now, see that power of AI, like we talked so much about procurement. Yes, it is difficult also. Like when you have to create so many purchase orders, so many line items, so many bomb items are there. Is it is it possible that if you don't have a system on Excel sheet, you can do such thing? Impossible. You create lot of errors.
Yeah.
Look, if you have spend analysis, if you have correct MRP, there are a lot of system like an Axis is there, so you can digitize, you can predict, you can normalize your inventory. Definitely it will help you that ultimately more inventory, not only it is the inventory cost, but there is risk of obsolescence, that it may be obsolete tomorrow. It's not only like you are spending on cost, but you are spending on cost which will be waste tomorrow. So you can improve those kind of things when you take artificial intelligence. Look at collaborative robotics, like things where does human make most error? The human makes more error when it's a stereotype of a job, and he has to say yes, no, yes, no. He will definitely make machine, but machine will not make. That is where machine learning comes into picture, or artificial intelligence comes into picture, and it will say that that kind of a job. For imagine a testing, the guy has to do nothing, but all parameters are on the machine. He will definitely commit mistakes, sometimes not,
Yeah.
sometimes bypassing it. This can be very well done through AI kind of a thing, and you will be certifying the product that it is tested properly and it has gone okay to the field, and you can create traceability. You can create so many wonders with it. You will understand everything what happened. So this kind. Then we talk about blockchain. Today, which is the biggest risk any industry has,
The
right?
trust.
We have heard that nuclear sites got compromised.
Trust.
Somebody's gun is not working. You see, these days you listen when Israel did something, Iran did something. So blockchain will keep your data safe. Next big problem you will be in the data you have in your campus. It is a very difficult thing to keep it secure. So blockchain, using blockchain will help you to secure your data. So your data is big thing, your cost, how much you are spending throughout, what efficiency you derived in your purchase, what productivity you have achieved, what is your machine programming. All this data is very, very secure and very, very good for you. So it has to remain secure. So blockchain can be used in that. So then spend analysis, you do so much of purchases, ultimately purchaser can make mistake and he never realizes. And like again Raviji talks about measurement, how will he measure when He never realized he doesn't know what happened 4 years back. Then he can correct himself. So if you have a simple science, you do spend and this, you understand you predicted something, you purchased at something, and this was where you made the mistakes. It will advise you if you create such a mistake. So a lot of these things and measurement, like there are, yes, I agree, measurement should be there, but the more you digitize your measurement, the better it will be. Otherwise, even you might even fudge the measurement also. You will have measurement, but you will not do the correct measurement. So if your machine will not do that, intentionally or unintentionally, so machine cannot do that. So you can use machine today for all your measurements and then your analytics. The most important thing is that in any workplace, as like Raviji said, unless you have correct measurement and you have correct analysis and you have some kind of guidance which will tell you how what to do and how to improve in the workplace. And all this can be done through the generative AI system. And why we call it generative? Like we had AI from ages. I think, like, right, Six Sigma was done like when we were not even born. So that time, Six Sigma is the basic of artificial intelligence. So it gives us statistical analysis and we make. But why we call it generative today is because it, through various LLMs, it teaches itself also. It learns with time. It makes changes in itself so that it gives the correct decision and it navigates us properly. So I think, like with the kind of complexities today we have in terms of speed, in terms of quality, in terms of cost, in terms of delivery, I think the tools which Industry 4.0 promotes, we should all try to adapt them. It's not necessary we adapt them at one go.
One
Look
go.
look it at in bits and pieces. Look at small things which I'm talking about. To do this thing in one camera, you will see the benefit. Then you do it in 100 cameras. Do your predictive maintenance in one machine. If you get benefits, do it in all the machines. Do your spend analysis in some POs. You can do it just by doing yourself before adapting into a program. So I think new ways do give us advantage, and the world outside is changing. It's not necessary. We may think like not necessary, but world outside is changing, and if we
Changing
don't keep pace, we will be nowhere in the race.
in the race.
We
Yes.
will not understand that how we
Yes.
lost that game. So I
Correct.
think
Correct.
we have to adapt these new practices.
Fantastic.
So these new practices are necessary. The scale can be different, the timing can be different, but
Fantastic.
ultimately these new practices are based on those old measurements and
Gold measurements.
only thing is it helps you become fast, it helps you become
Better.
intelligent, and it helps you in speed, quality, cost, and delivery.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Very nicely, we talk about in one hand about the processes, the foundation, the fundamentals. The other hand, the technologies. Very nicely covered. So I would like to just add 2 points which are in my mind. I think one most important point is we need to have some kind of research mindset. We need to promote it. Okay, so in the organizations everybody thinks that they need to spend full hours, hard work and everything, you need to do it. So I think even if machine load is loaded more than 80%, it tends to break down even if it is even if it is capable. So for the people, we need to really promote the research mindset in whatever you do it, whether it could be in procurement, it could be in the manufacturing shop floor, it could be in the sales, it could be in the maintenance, whatever. So there should be some kind of research to do a more innovative processes, improve the processes and cycle times, and then reduce the errors. So this is the where we need to do a great investment. So research is not waste. So research is an investment for the future growth. So that is something which is very important. We need to change our mindset. Work hard. Don't do any research. That is a mindset of typical manufacturer. So that has to be changed. That is in my opinion. The second thing is the technology. One important point is we have when you talk about the basics, so every organization in one way or other they have the ERP systems in place to have the accounting, the procurement, sales, accounting processes. And then we are talking about technologies, the generative AI, IoTs, and all blockchain and all. There is something the missing, the connecting link between these two is the manufacturing execution system. So some OEMs give MES along with their machines and all. So manufacturing execution system adoption is definitely a value addition for Indian manufacturing and of course in a global. So this will give more focus on managing manufacturing proactively for balancing inventories, managing the times, process times, and everything, and then manufacturing analytics, and also for the controls, for the quality and controls. So I think with that said, it will be great challenge for all manufacturers now, and it's an opportunity also to thrive. So fittest of the survival is the need of the hour now. Okay. So with that, we are end of the show, sir. It's a couple of minutes. We'll just leave it to have the concluding remarks. So Raviji, you may have a concluding remarks and followed by Rajiv.
Well, all I'm saying, there are resources available, there are measurements are available. Real thing is the environment is going to be even more chaotic in the days to come. Even more. We have to find ways and means what suits us, and we are not ready to wait for years together. For perhaps, in my view, today the short term is 1 week, medium term is 4 weeks, and long term is 13 weeks. Forget about months and years. We don't. In 13 weeks, the whole world can change. So if we have to become agile, and tools are available, equipments are available. Question is not whether can it be done. Question to the entire audience is, do we want to do it, or we will be forced to do it? It's our choice. That's it.
Fantastic. We have to do it anyways. Whether you do it willingly or by force, you have to do it. Okay, choose which is the best for you. Rajiv ji?
So the very well said by Raviji. So I would add one more thing to it. It's agility and flexibility. Today, with agility, you also need flexibility because it is a customer's world now. So we have to be flexible as well as agile if we have to be successful. Second thing is, I would say that any process, like age old concept, we have to define our problems, we have to measure them, we have to analyze them, we have to improve them, and finally we have to control them. The most important part is control. We forget this control, we have to control them. And ultimately, it is age old philosophy. Is it what we are doing inside, is it value added work or it is non value added work? Segregating this non value added work, because 90% of this non value added work is waste,
He's a waste.
and it is all about waste elimination. So it's around us. So like we say 5S and all those things, but there are five senses. This waste, you can hear, you can smell, you can see, you can feel. So if you use your senses to see this waste and eliminate, you will create not only green, but you will also have very efficient workplace. And finally, it gives the third word today is agile supply chain, flexible supply chain, and sustainable supply chain. We have to give planet to the future generation as we receive this. We have to we have to balance economics with sustainability. So keep it
Fantastic.
green, and ultimately anything, any supply chain, if it is short and smart, it is beautiful. So our workplace should be garden green, hospital clean, very sustainable. And while we do all this, we should, so which means that we should have agility, we should have flexibility, and also sustainability.
Fantastic, sir. There are few messages, very interesting. Okay, so especially I will just Deep, if you are able to hear me, can you throw? Yeah. So Abdul Qadir Mustafa. So thank you if you are hearing me, Mustafa. So very nice to see your message after a long time. Very interesting message. So he Abdul Qadir is echoing with what the speakers are talking about: people, process, technology, and also people change management, the process optimization, the technology effectiveness. So uh, yeah, so he's focusing more on to people training, the process and value chains. So very nice. So great insights, Abdul Qadir. So one more from Faisal, Deep, if you can push. Yeah. So very interesting. While our SMEs are still in early stages, let's collectively focus on purpose, people, and processes. So that's what Ravi ji is talking about. Talking emerging technology, I think simply complicates the discussion. Let's get the house in order first. You are truly rightly said. So put the foundation properly, put the processes, and then build on top of it. But you don't have time. That's the problem. Whatever you want to do it faster. Okay, you don't have time. Okay, so thank you all the participants who are um, involved, who attended, who are, and this video will be posted in the channel. And very interesting discussion, very interesting and insightful discussion. And I'm very, I learned a lot from Raviji after a long time. And Rajiv ji, you are amazing as usual. Okay, so thank you for joining the session today. And on behalf of the organizers, I take this as an opportunity to thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
Ravi.
you, thank you, thank you, Khader Saab, and thank you, Ravi ji. It's so
Thank
great
you.
meeting you all, and have a
Thank you,
nice
sir.
weekend. And
Have
you
a
too.
nice
Have a
weekend.
nice weekend. Thank you so much for listening and giving your time.
Thank you.